my channel today. Today we're going to be working on the 2015 Dodge Journey Crossroad. It's a front wheel drive, two wheel drive, whatever you want to call it. Some of them come with all wheel drive. We're going to be replacing the front struts. I'm going to show you my layout. I got all my stuff lined up. This is just some of my GoPro stuff. I got my tools simply laid out how I want. I like to have two jacks. It makes the job a little bit easier. I keep all my electric tools right here. I'm only going to show you one side, but I'm going to be doing both sides. I always use good quality Duralast parts from AutoZone. Can't go wrong. Alright, so let's get started. First thing we're going to need is the right impact socket. It's always good to have a nice full set that you know that's there. It's going to be a 19. Take it off. We're simply going to have all of our tools that we're going to use in a reaching distance. It's always good to have impact. If you don't have one, you would just break the lug nuts loose from the ground. And we have a good spot that we're going to decide to put all these bolts in. What I like, the backdrop of this orange thing. I'm going to simply take the tire. We can move it out our way. Always go ahead and set you a nice jack stand under the car for protection. Alright. Keep a map gas torch handy when I do front end work. You want to lube that little link right there, because hopefully you can get it on one zip. I'm hoping I have this size socket here. The CV axle nut is 1 1/4 inches. The reason why we're going to take this loose is we don't want to overextend the CV axle when we separate it from the actual strut. Alright, so now this got put in the wrong spot. It happens. You know that's going to be a 13 millimeter. That's going to be an 18 millimeter. And the nut for the tire right end is going to be 18 millimeter. So let's put back what we don't need. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate Okay, sometimes that happens. There's a little plastic coating inside of these. Sometimes, hopefully I'm not out of map gas. Just simply heat this nut up right here. You can kind of see the plastic oozing out on it. Put a little pressure down on it. I don't know if you can see what I got going on here. I'm hoping this works. Up a little bit again. Hopefully I can just... There we go. A little lube, a little pressure. Alright, now we want to spin this back on here. Hopefully y'all don't run into that problem. That might happen 2 times out of 100. It just means the last person that put it on didn't tighten it up enough, and it never kind of locked in place like it was supposed to. All right, now we want to get some good leverage. Give it some real good hard smacks. The nut's on her, so if you slip, it's not going to damage the thread. All right, so we got that out the way. Just spin that nut back on there. It'll be good to go. Now you got all the control in the world. All right, now let's go ahead and go to the next step. Let's keep tools that we know we're gonna use right here. Take loose that nut. Like I said, this is a 1.25" socket. I'm sure there's a metric socket that will fit it. I have a set that I didn't pull out. I was just lucky enough to have a full set here that had it. It was the largest one I had. Okay, we don't need that 21. All right, we're gonna start prepping for the next step. All right, that's probably gonna be a 21. I wish I would have done this on the side where the sun was at so it wouldn't be so dark. But you got 21 here, 21 here. So we're gonna use the wrench on this side, just leave it sitting there like that. And we're gonna need a 21 impact. Let's hope that this little, sometimes if we get lucky and this thing will come off. This was 18. If it don't zip off, we gotta do it a different way. As you can see, it's got a little Torx head in there. I'll show you that trick here in a second. I know you notice I have a second jack. I can try to manipulate it and put a little pressure on it, and you can control. This gives you control over the control arm. Incidentally, I'll just put a little pressure on the suspension. Work. Let's go ahead and get that set of Torx sockets. I thought about grabbing it, but we got Torx sockets right there. Put a little more lube on there. I've noticed in my time of doing this, the 18mm wrench disappears out of your set because you don't use it as much. But when you need it, you need it. If you can't find your 17, you can convert that to 11/16. But you can't really convert the 18 to a standard. when I came up working on cars, you had to have a full set of standard and metric regardless. Now, I wouldn't recommend using impact with this little tiny Torx. So it's going to kind of confuse you. You're going to be tightening the Torx. To loosen it. So you want to hold it in place. Alright, so the air ratchet ain't going to have enough power. So we're going to switch over to manual crank. And that honestly feels a little loose. So I'm just going to go up to the next side. Alright. So the size you want to use on this is a T40. When I first put the other one in, it fit, but it was because it was rust in there. You want to catch that because you don't want to round out the inside of that. The goal is not to cost the customer any extra parts. Half the time I can zip that little nut off, especially if the car's a little newer. But it's starting to get cold out. Winter time's coming. Bolts just don't want to accent. As you can see, it's coming. Yeah. And trust me, this can be a headache sometimes on the sway bar links. Probably one of the headaches you're going to run into on this job. Alright, so now we know we'll keep that there. We'll keep that T40 with the ratchet there. We can put this back because we don't need it right now. Alright, we're going to move that out the way. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the caliper and the caliper and the bracket. I want full control. So we just gotta locate our 3/8 impact. There she is. I'm gonna go ahead and just simply take this 13mm. My little ring fell off the other day. I gotta get a replacement, so I gotta be careful. 2 13 bolts there. 2 more there. One's holding the hose on. Holding a little bracket for the ABS sensor. So all together we're gonna have 4 bolts. There's the nut that we had for the sway bar link that we can just spin that back on there so it don't get lost. One of the other bolts fell. This is no big deal. I'll find it in a second. Anywho, I'm gonna put it right here. I'll find that other bolt here in a second. Alright, now make sure this slides in and out good. Take this bracket off. Just rest it down here. Make sure you ain't got no more tension on your jack right here. And you'll see where this jack being here comes in handy in a few. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and take off the 21 millimeter. There's one. Two. Look at this. These ones probably got a little spline up in them. A little more lube down in there. Well, it shot like a bullet. Alright, so they got like a little spline thing that holds them in, so it takes a little pressure to get them out. You want to screw that on there, set to the side. We're going to find that bolt that shot out right here. Oh, there you go, there's that nut we were looking for. There's the bolt for the bracket. So we're right on target. We got all of our stuff. We got one more last step. I'm going to take you a nice trim tool. Get it out most of the way. Instead of breaking it, just take this, new nose, get the rest of the way. Kind of long. And go ahead and take out that ABS sensor right there. That way you don't break it or damage it. That's a simple 10 millimeter. I don't like using impact on smaller bolts. Well, I was gonna squirt that, but it's already kind of loose, so. Alright, so just take this, swing it out the way. Alright, so the strut itself is loose. On this particular car, there's a little extra work that needs to be done. You cannot get to the bolts without manipulating some things. So you can either do this part first. Sometimes I take this part off first. This little column's got to come off. It's a bunch of little clips. So a trim tool is really a must on this one. I'm going to be doing both sides, which I recommend doing both sides every time you do one. See, there's one missing there, but one ain't going to kill it. There's a couple hidden ones. That I remember from doing this before. Okay, here's one that's got like a screw thing on it. There's another hidden one up in here. Can't be a heavy hand when you mess with these little clips. Just if you get a tough one that's real dirty or something, just squirt it with a little lube. There's another pain in the butt one back right here in the middle. Okay, there's one there, there. A lot of guys don't like doing this one because they're like, oh man, you gotta take the extra stuff off. I'll put these in a different spot. It is what it is. Can't get lucky every time. Get a nice gravy one. And these shops are charging ridiculous extra money just because of this one part right here. I'm not going to tell you how much I'm charging this lady because I keep my finances to myself, but I can tell you I probably came in about half of what our local Firestone was going to charge her. And I'm still doing pretty good. She's gonna get just as good a quality, if not better, probably better. I've seen some of the work some of these Firestones can do. The only thing they're good at work is working you over, working your wallet over anyway. All right. So now, as you can see, it's freeing up a little bit. You got two choices. Lift this up a little bit and just work around it, which I just might do if it's possible. Let's get our electric ratchet. Let's start at the hardest one in the back and see if we can get to it. No problem. Okay, here we go. Next one. So you can have 4 13mm bolts on each side. I set these in a different spot because we're in a separate stage of the job. I'm not going to show you how to put this back on in this video. I'm only showing you one side, trying to keep the video at a minimum. You have some more snaps up on the bottom of there I just remembered about. So let's find our trim tool. Right there. Get them all down a little bit and then like 4 altogether. If you got a trim tool, go ahead and get it down a little bit, and then get you some needle nose pliers and just get the rest of the way. Oh, okay. All right, so they kind of just stay in place. There's 4 of them. You can take them all the way out if you want. That's the rest up in there. And I'm pretty sure that's the last thing holding that in place. So we're gonna gently lift this up and slide up. It's like your center support. out the way. Alright, now we can see right to our strut bolts. Alright, so now we're going to want to find the right size, which is a 15. Simply do the same thing. Set all the tools that we're using right there, because when I go to the other side, I'm just going to grab those tools. I always take out the harder to get to ones first. The new strut's probably going to come with new bolts, but I recommend saving these. You might run into a situation one day where you drop a bolt or a nut. I'm gonna set these right here because I probably want to use them. All right, now you want to reach up under like this. Put your hand on there firmly. There you go. This vehicle, just so you know, has a different strut for each side. This is the left side. We want to match up everything. Okay, that's supposed to be, we might have a problem here, because that says, no, that says R, right side. Yeah, I had that happen to me once. Open it up and it was the wrong, it sold me the wrong part. Alright, so these come with a warning sticker on them. I personally recommend leaving them on there. It's a warning in several languages. Do not take loose the bolt in the middle or it could severely hurt you. So you don't know, the next guy might not be too bright. So I'm gonna leave that sticker on there. If you worry about it being super pretty or whatever, you can peel it off, but you're gonna get some residue anyway from the sticker. A lot of these are the same regardless, so I can't remember on this one. This can put a little strain on your back, so it's recommended to try to get this part done. Hold it up on there, get one bolt started, screw it down as far as you can that way. You'll pull your back up. Alright, now I can release it from holding it. The new nut may not be the same size as the old nut in some cases. If you're going to impact this on and you take the whole thing off, don't kill it. Snap the stud off. I've seen that so many times. I go take an old one off, there's a snap stud on her. It's nice and tight like that. Nice and tight like that. There you go. So the top part's done. As you can see, we got this thing sitting pretty straight for us. Let's get all of our bolts that we're gonna need. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and put this in, put it in the same direction you took it out. It came in from this way. You want to kind of, you're gonna recommend align it anyway. I can tell you, if you don't push pressure on it while you're tightening these up, you're gonna have a tire bowed up. So I'm gonna push it, because you can see it slotted right here. That's how they will adjust the camber. If we look at the old one, we can probably tell a little bit, but I'm gonna go off experience. You're gonna be mad having to pull the wheel off, because you're like, dang, that wheel is really leaning. So I'm gonna try to do two. I'm gonna push it in like that. And it kind of lined up with the line that was there. This is one I recommend getting a alignment done after. A lot of times when you do this specific style, it's straight in and straight out. There's no adjustment on a lot of cars. All right, so now this is where the jack comes into play. As you can see, what you're gonna do, fight it with a pry bar. Just simply jack this thing up. I guarantee that's gonna be a huge shortcut for some of y'all. Now you can just simply put that in there. Sometimes we get lucky and it zips right in. So I'm gonna take the pressure back off of it. It kind of holds it. I'm gonna get my 18. I'm gonna hope that it just zips it right in there. We knew that was a possibility. So now it's gonna be confusing again, because we're turning it to the left. The wrench is easier to move than the ratchet, so make sure it's nice and tight. Gonna pull that out. If I was done, I'd be putting it back, that part back into the box, but I still gotta do the other side. If you're doing the other side, it's the same thing as this side. It's just flipped around on you. So you can use the same video for either side. Alright, that one's tight. I'm going to snap this back in here like so. We're going to take this caliper and put it back on there. Sometimes they'll want to fight you a little bit, but there she goes. This part I'm about to do, I recommend y'all actually hand tighten this. I'm gonna do it my way because I've been doing it so long. Always make sure you get 2 or 3 threads started. Line this all up. Oop. Get your 13 ready. Do not forget to put the CV axle nut back on. You'll be highly disappointed when you have to pull that wheel back off because you're hearing a wobbling. You hear a good solid noise when it's tight. So this is where we put the whatchamacallit back on, the tie rod in. But if y'all are watching from the beginning, it kind of fought us a little bit. Hopefully that's not going to be the case this time. We're going to do it the same way though. We're going to heat this nut up. Having a good map gas torch has so many uses. It's a good purchase. Even if you don't own one, I would just go ahead and purchase it. If you want to do a little bonfire out back, you can start that sucker quick. There she goes. She's it right on her. But I use it for a lot of different things. I really want to let you know I enjoy making these videos for y'all, the do-it-yourselfers. I can't video every job I do because I'm so busy. It takes a little time to set up and everything. But I want to thank you for joining my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm new on here. I need all the help I can get. Some people got more money than time. Other people got more time than money. God bless. Have a happy Merry Christmas for you and your family. I want to give a special shout out to God for giving me the talent, for letting me wake up and letting me have peace and joy.